Dr. Azzah. I'm here to introduce her. Dr. Azzah Maskari is a senior faculty member and the former dean of the University of Technology and Applied Science here in Oman. She has obtained a PhD and a master's from the University of Sheffield and a bachelor from California State University. Her research interest is very wide. She has a number of publications in reputed journals, and she is here to talk to us today about the fourth industrial revolution and higher education institutions. That's interesting, an area that I am personally interested in. So strategic plans and the case study from Oman. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doctor. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's really a great pleasure to stand up today with you and share part of our research project results, which is really a part of a research that has been sponsored by the Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation. And the main purpose of that research, the research really tried to answer or come up with a framework and an assessment tool that higher education universities could use to measure their effectiveness and their readiness in harnessing the power of the fourth industrial revolution. My name is Azzah Maskari, and my colleagues are Dr. Sami Ghnimi and Dr. Thuraya Riyami. We are a group of researchers who conducted this research. Of course, with the high emergence of the artificial intelligence and other innovative technologies, our life has changed from different aspects in all spheres, in manufacturing, in processing, in agriculture, and of course, education is not exception. We have changed. It has impacted the way we think, the way we live, and the way we learn as well. And hence, it's really inevitable for higher education institutions to come up with ways and prepare their graduates to harness the power of rapidly changing and emerging technologies. And with that, there's really a need for a framework and that guide the HEIs, the policymakers, and the decision makers, and the leaders and educators as well, how to go about it and how to cultivate smarter graduates who can cope with a rapidly changing environment. Therefore, we come up with this smart and very comprehensive framework which encompasses different aspects and dimensions of any universities or HEI that required, starting from the strategic approach, going to the curriculum and pedagogy, to the infrastructure, to the stakeholders, starting from top management, leaders, staff, students, going to the research priorities, trainings, and the collaboration and partnership with different institutes. Of course, what do we mean that? How we ensure as universities that we are really embedding the different features and of fourth IR industry within these dimensions. For example, we as universities, are we really integrating fourth IR technology into our curriculum? When it's come to infrastructure, are we really offering the infrastructure that really give the true experience for our stakeholders, for our students, and for our faculty of what it means to live the era of fourth industrial revolution? When it's come to the training or research priority, is our research priority really geared and focused into the fourth industrial revolution? Similarly, are we training our faculty? Are we training our students? Are we preparing them to live their true experience and be really prepared for this era? So for today's talk, we only focus into the strategic approach because this is a part of very comprehensive research. So the aim of today's talk is really to determine to what extent the higher education institution, basically the strategic plans, to what extent the strategic plans has incorporated the different features and strategies to calculate the fourth industrial revolution in their SPs. The methodology, we have communicated with the Minister of Higher Education. All the HEIs in Oman have been requested to participate or get their response. We only received, unfortunately, 14 HEIs, these from government, private universities, and colleges. There was somewhat challenge or resistance, basically, and maybe fear to disclose their SP, because we have to analyze the SP. We have to analyze the mission, vision, goals, sub-goals, initiatives, strategies. So there was some resistance from some HEIs. Luckily, we managed to get 14. So what we have done, we done content analysis of their SPs. And we had like a checklist. We are looking for keywords such as virtual, smart, intelligent system, sustainable, automated, digital, electronic, online, connected, and so on. So these are the keywords that we are looking for in their, basically down to the strategies, because implementation steps come the strategy. We went to the lower level. These are the key results we had and the main findings. We have grouped the results into 5 main criteria, areas based on ISA standards. The first one is governance and management. Then come teaching and learning, then research and consultancy, then industry, communication and engagement, and the last one is supporting service. I don't know where is the pointer here. So as you can see, the last, the highest one, the supporting services and facilities, the last one had the highest number of strategies. And of course, that should be that way only, because supporting service means the IT support provided for in the college. It had 36 strategies among the 14 HEIs, and that came from 9 HEI. So not even, we had in total 14 respondents, 14 HEI. So not even all the HEIs have strategies to tackle this issue, which has to deal with technology, with open education, and so on. Next came the research and consultancy with 25 strategies, came from 7 HEIs, because we have some colleges and universities as well, again from 7 HEIs. So 50% of the HEIs in Oman have strategies to tackle this issue. Then came the 21 teaching and learning. We had 21 strategies from 12 universities, and this is our core business. So what message here do we have? Our core business as higher education institutes is really to teach. If we don't have strategies that deals with the technology mindset and how we can prepare our students for a better future, or how to live the era we are living in, it should be here from our perspective. It should be 14. All the HEIs must have strategies to implement the technology side, and currently we don't have that with this sample we have. Then came the governance and management. We had 18 strategies out of 10. In total 10 out of 14. And the least one was the industry and community engagement, which is it's expected to be the lowest one. Then we went down to further analysis. We divided every main criterion into sub-criterion. For example, here, the governance and management, we had 18 strategies. So they are grouped into, they are grouped into these 5 sub-criteria, such as communication, which is basically social media. Then comes financial sustainability, smart and green campus, digital transformation, and last, financial sustainability. So there we have, as you can see, the social, basically social media is the highest number of strategies came there than others. An example of the strategy mentioned in the SPs is use of relevant technologies and social media to reach potential customers. So basically, majority the HIs are really, they want to reach their potential customers. The rest are all examples of what strategies HIs have for these sub-criterion examples. Then we move to the teaching and learning. As we said, we have 21 strategies. They are grouped into this way. Again, 5 sub-themes. Learning technology is the highest with 8 strategies. Then curriculum review and development. Then pedagogy, training, development, and policy. So an example of the learning technologies is invest in technological-based learning to promote accessibility by offering anytime, anywhere delivery. And these are examples. What we see here, to me, is surprising, really. Pedagogy, with this interactive and creative era we are living in, only 4 strategies that have been addressing the pedagogy, and such as embed the use of technology-based education methods. So this is one of the most critical areas, and it has been mentioned by Mr. Kato here. We have to go for innovative teaching, and even Dr. Tariq Sunedi said the way of previous traditional or teacher-centered is no longer valid. So this shows, because SP is the main drive for the HEIs. What really your SP should implement, it should reflect what we do at the university. If our SP and our strategies have only 4 strategies that addressing the pedagogy, this really gives indication that there is a lot more to do. We at the HEI need to improve our strategies to tackle and to prepare our graduates for a better future. Then we move to the research and consultancy. There are 25 strategies grouped this way: entrepreneurship and innovation ecosystem, their research repository, technology transfer, training development, and last is research infrastructure. As you can see, the first one, of course, because here in Oman there is a high demand for this, so it has more strategies than the rest. But what surprised us here is technology transfer. Only 3 strategies. I think it came from 2 HEIs that have technology transfer. The number here doesn't mean a university. The number means here number of strategies. So there is also a lesson here. Technology transfer means our research product is really, we make use of it. We go to the industry. It means more collaborative work between the HI and the industry. Then we have industry and community engagement. This has the least number of strategies, which is accepted. We had 2 themes, basically, training and development, and the last one is partnership and collaboration. And there is not much really to say in here if we compare it to the last one, which is support, services, and facilities. We had 36 strategies divided into these 4 sub-themes: services and support, infrastructure, system automation, training and development. This is what I said, the IT support fall under this part of area or dimension. So if we look at the example for service support, provide an efficient information and learning technology services and resources, and so on. What strikes us here is, if we look at the system automation, this is an example. There were only 5 strategies. So if we read here, utilize the relevant technology instead of forms and paperwork. As you can see, this is a low level. This could be maybe 20 years back. We could use this as an example. And we are in 2023. We are in the middle, or I don't know, a 4th industrial revolution, which started 2011. So still, we still think this is the way to do it. So this shows we are using technology as a tool, not as a transformative tool. It should be transformative tool. So there is really a strong message here again from this dimension. Proper use of technology. It's not only converting to paper. It's being smart and using the big data in decision making and high level. This slide here, it shows the dimension per university. So as I said, we have 14 universities. Only 1 university had all the 5 dimensions. Only 1 out of 14 that covered the different aspects of HEI. If we assume that these are the most important aspect or dimension for institutes, basically. In conclusion, results show that the supporting service has the highest level, although it is a low level. It's not up to the standard how it should be done. It's not used as a transformative tool. It is used just as a technology tool, whereas IR4 required the technology to be used that transform our life. Also, we have seen that there is really less you mention strategies related to learning analytics, technology transfer, only 3. So really, in conclusion, this calls for a strategic action to be included in the strategic plans of higher education institutions to guide us produce and cope with the rapidly engaging technology and ensure the sustainability of the future and of the higher education. I have time, right? Yeah. So really, HEIs need to put in place different strategies and straight to the point. in order, if we really want to have robust graduates who are able to serve the future. They should be able to learn, relearn, and unlearn and relearn. So we really need to have policies, strategies, and action for digital transformation. We need to build a smart education platform with high quality resources. What resources do we have here? We should have promote MOOCs or open online resources rigorously. What we do in here, we are using only, but we don't want to be only a user, end user. We want to be the one who are building. We want to be content creation, not only using. And even using has declined lately. According to Course Era annual report last year, in the Middle East, in Oman particularly, not only Middle East, it has reduced to 37%. Let alone, we are, I think, in terms of content creation and sharing, much little. I think it has also addressed, majority of the strategies I want to recommend, or we want to recommend, basically have been addressed mostly by Mr. Kato. So we need to have strategies for our teaching methods. The traditional way of delivery is no longer valid, of course. We need to have innovative ways of methods. The pandemic has really accelerated the way we teach, but there is a decline. There is a drawback now. If you compare it what we were during the pandemic. So big data, how many HIs in Oman are using big data? Rarely nothing. No one is using really big data for decision making. No one is using big data to predict students' performance or to see what personalized learning. It was mentioned earlier also. AI should be used in personalized teaching. It should be used in personalized advising. So there is a lot to do with assessing students' behavior, predicting their learning performance, academic planning, personalized teaching, and advising. We need strategies to really, also to train faculty members, because they are at the forefront. They are the ones who are dealing with students. The better we train them, the better our students will be and the better prepared. So we need to have intelligent teaching force, not a traditional teaching force. We should be better than our students, otherwise how can they be, they're not only transfer knowledge, they're also model with their students. We should be learning, not only learning from AI, because as again has mentioned earlier, AI is just, you need to know how to use it. We should be a critical thinker how to use AI. So we should be learning from AI and learning by AI, as well as learning together with AI, because AI learns basically from us. The better we ask them, the better we get from them. But we don't use it randomly. We have to know how to use it. So we need strategies. HEIs really need strong strategy to guide all of these activities. Also our research, we have to integrate research and development for digitizing education. We have to have strategies for data connectivity. Because with this, for decision making, big data normally should be used in decision making. There are lots of big data in every HEI, student performance, turnout, retention, progression. Lots of things can be done with the HEI, but unfortunately, rarely has been used for decision making. Mostly they are done at random or not used at all, unfortunately. So I think there is a lot to do based on what we have learned. Technology is not just about having systems, it's really about utilizing them properly, using them decision making, using them to predict student performance. We should have personalized learning. And we hope that higher education institutions, those when they do revision for their SP or they do new SP, they need to consider, put this in mind. So that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctora.
Thank you.
Doctora, you can join me here if you prefer, and we can take a couple of questions from the audience. I could perhaps start it by linking your topic to the theme of the conference. How can quality assuring agencies or quality assuring units assist universities in building their strategic direction and in shaping the strategic direction? You have identified a number of really good recommendations here. And do you believe that there's a role for the internal or the external to adopt some of these recommendations, incorporating them in standards, indicators that can be looked at to help shape the strategic direction, basically?
Looking at ISA doesn't really address technology per se. But the previous ISA, there was, I think, one point or one criteria or one indicator, not even a criteria for technology. The new version, I'm not sure, I haven't seen technology there. Huh? Yes, Dr. Her Excellency is saying no. Although I don't know really if it needs to be integrated in the ISA. Maybe that's one way to force it. Also, we have Ministry of Transportation and وزارة النقل والاتصالات, where we have to fulfill all HEIs. Basically, we need to respond to their strategic plans. We have to achieve their strategic plan, being stakeholders. But that is really not enforced. So I think maybe if we really want to enforce it, the only way for HEIs is to appear in the ISA. To me, that's because everyone, you know, as I said in the morning, Dr. Khalid, or earlier, you know, they're like the member, they have the power to force HEIs. Or maybe more awareness, sitting with industry, checking the graduates, are they recruited, what is the reason? These are the main ways, or the only way that could be done. Or maybe, but that university which has all the elements, it's really good, it's a good university, basically. Yeah, so there is no reason why they have all the areas scattered and covered.
Thank you very much, Dr. Azzah. That was very informative. I'm just wondering, to what extent do you think the elements of the fourth industrial revolution are missing from the strategic initiatives because they're missing from the mission of the institution? Do you think that these elements should be integrated even at the mission level before they're broken down into strategies?
Yeah, we done analysis. Unfortunately, nothing is there. So for that reason, we did not report it. It's there at the goal level, but not at the vision and mission. Because mission and vision normally consists of the three roles. We are academics, so we teach, we do research, and we do partnership. These are the main three statements basically will appear in all HEIs. But in terms of technology, but if you look at sustainability and really technology transfer, it's required really. Otherwise, how the research will go out to the public and to the corporate world if you don't have really a guidance and if you don't have a strategy to do that. Yeah. Maybe my co-authors or my colleagues also would like to contribute to the discussion. Dr. Thuraya and Dr. Sami. Raise your hand if you want to add more.
May I?
Yes,
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. I was just wanted to check whether I heard you correctly when you said that you believe the only way to actually encourage institutions to come up with comprehensive strategic plans is by enforcing it as one of the indicators or the criteria in accreditation?
Yes, that's what I meant. Because normally, if we look at the benefit of the accreditation so far, we have to witness lots of improvements in HEIs happened because of OAAA enforcement.
While I agree with that, I mean, having witnessed myself as an external reviewer with OAAA for many years, and now as perhaps even a member of the board of OAAA, I beg to differ, to be honest, because I think as much as accreditation has helped us obviously to grow, what we should be working towards now is not ticking the box, as my colleagues have been saying since the morning. We need to develop sustainable systems whereby quality assurance is an integral aspect of what we do. So I personally do not want I don't want to see the higher education sector in Oman actually waiting until some sort of criteria or standards come out from whatever agency or body in order for us as the sector, as institutions of higher education in Oman, to react and move forward. I genuinely believe that actually this needs to come from within. And a culture of quality assurance needs to come within. We should not be reactive and waiting for what agencies are telling us in order to incorporate that into our strategic plans.
But they haven't agreed with you, Dr. Riyami. But as you saw the results, many HI didn't really consider it as a priority for them. So we will still continue with leaving the traditional approach.
What they didn't, sorry, I didn't get that.
I mean, if we don't put a mechanism or encourage, many HEIs still leaving the traditional approach, or they're not responding as quickly as the industry expect in terms of technology transfer, in terms of having, you know, students who can use AI, or, you know, there are, I'm not saying that all HEIs, maybe they do, but it's not really documented in their SP or in their, because what we have done is we analyze the SP. Could be maybe they have it, internal decree from the Vice Chancellor and so on, but it doesn't appear per se in the SP. Yeah.
Thank you.
As we move the mic to the next person, perhaps I can intervene here. It was my question. I can hear that there is a fine, delicate balance between the role that is played by the external quality assurer and the internal quality assurer. And the answer is somewhere along building a sustainable culture where the external drives the internal culture and ensures that there is a continual critical friendship going on between the two agencies. Thank you very much for that. I believe Dr. Tariq, you have a question.
أنا بتحكي بالعربي. أنا أحس المشكلة في إن المؤسسات they set up an excellent systems. أنا المؤسسات اللي راجعتها الفترة القريبة they have an excellent quality assurance mechanism. Excellent. يعني والمشكلة قياس فاعلية النظام والسيستم هي المشكلة. الاي اي موجود بس شنو قياس فاعليته؟ هي المشكلة اللي تواجهها. أنا بالنسبة لي مؤسسة تعليم عالي نجاحها كم طالب قاعد في البيت من خريجيني. نعم كم طالب قاعد في البيت ما اشتغل. الامبلوبيليتي هي أنا بالنسبة لي تقيس فاعلية المؤسسة. رانكينج للأسف أنا دون بليف الرانكينج. أنا لحد الآن اللي أشوف في المؤسسات التعليم الانبلويمنت وايد زايد. طلبة كثير خريجين حتى خريجين أوروبا. خريجين أوروبا يروحون جامعات قوية الفيرست يير قاعدين في البيت ما يشتغلون. المشكلة اللي نركز عليها هيئات الجودة تركز هي الامبلويمنت. شنو الجامعة قاعدة تقدم؟ هل تقدم طالب ريدي؟ هل الطالب في السنة الأخيرة الجامعات تلقفه؟ يعني أنا صراحة يوم تخرجت من الجامعة الطلبة الأكثرية اللي معانا كلهم حصلوا أشغال هاي قبل. الحين هل في أوفرز لهم في آخر سنة؟ هل في تدريب عملي للجامعة؟ فأنا صراحة أشوف الفاعلية في الإفكتفنس الجامعة مو كل الجامعات تقيس الفاعلية بشكل جيد حتى لو عندها أجهزة وعندها سيستمز وعندها يعني عندها excellent tools بس المشكلة قياس فاعليته في الأداء. وثانياً هي الامبلويمنت خريجين كم طالب قاعد في البيت من خريجيني.
Yeah, maybe that can be measured if we check how many students have been recruited and where they're from yearly, because there's low recruitment rate for all HEIs, not all. So you cannot say, maybe we check if this year maybe, for example, 5,000 students, we can see how many sat for the interview from every HEI and who are those who have been recruited. Then we can see these graduates are better than those graduates from this HEI, for example. But giving the low recruitment rate now, we cannot really determine.
Thank you.
I am partner to Dr. Azzah, but I want to answer this question whether I am partner or not. Actually, I think after 2 or 3 discussions today, I want to ask whether really the problem of recruitment of our students is because of the education only or because we don't have a good economy system. We have also to have accreditation for our economy system so we can maybe judge properly this question and we get some answer, okay? So I don't mean that we don't need this accreditation for our education, but also we have to think about the economy and this approach or strategy for the economy and whether they are aligned together or not. this is another also problem that we have to address. And if we will not talk with the economy, responsible about our economy, also will not get any solution, I think, from the part of the education. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe we have time for one more question.
مساء الخير. تعليقاً على اللي ذكره الدكتور ناصر وفيما خص عملية توظيف الخريجين، أنا بطرح السؤال لمجتمع التعليم العالي، يعني لإلي أنا وزملائي كأساتذة جامعيين، عندما نبني بروجرام وكريكولم ننطلق من مسلمات ومعطيات أكاديمية يقتضيها بناء البروجرام لقناعتنا بأنه البروجرام لا يكتمل إلا بوجود هيدا الكورس وهيدا الكورس وهيدا الكونتنت. قبل ما نبحث بالضرورة عن سوق العمل، خصوصاً بالاختصاصات اللي ما يقابلها سوق عمل واضح، على سبيل المثال اختصاص الفيلوزوفي، اختصاص الهيستوري، اختصاص الرياضيات، اختصاص الكيمستري، اختصاصات كثيرة يقابلها نقول يصبح معلم على سبيل المثال، بس التعليم أو وظيفة معلم مرتبط بعدد المدارس وبعدد الطلبة وبعدد المقاعد وبعدد الموجودين. هذا سوق عمل مقفل نوعا ما. هل بالإمكان فعلا أن نذهب بقياس نوعية التعليم وجودة التعليم إلى سوق العمل لنرى أين يعمل خريجو الجامعات؟ أليس للبرامج خصوصية تقتضي أن يكون المنهاج مكون وفق هندسة معينة؟ هذه مسألة برسم الأكاديميين، برسم الأساتذة الجامعيين الذين ينظرون إلى المحتوى، إلى هندسة المنهاج بحسب الاختصاص. نحن لا نتكلم عن كمبيوتر ساينس أو عن الجرافيك ديزاين، هذه مسألة بسيطة هذه الاختصاصات، ولا عن علاج النطق. نحن نتكلم عن منظومة تعليم عالي كاملة بكافة كلياتها واختصاصاتها. المسألة شائكة وتحتاج إلى نظر. شكرا.
شكرا أستاذي. أعتقد دكتور طارق وأستاذي أنتم تحتاجون تكملون النقاش بعد الجلسة فيما يخص الامبلويابيليتي والكي بي ايز، لأن خرجنا عن نطاق، وسامحينا دكتورة عزة. مشكورة دكتورة عزة. On this, thank you for the questions, and I think we are ready to move to the next session. All right, introducing our next presenter for today's session, I am pleased to present to you Dr. Isra Al-Dha'in from Ahliya University in Bahrain, a fellow Bahraini من فريق البحرين. Please join me here on the stage. Dr. today has a very long bio that I have been asked to memorize in the last 3 seconds. But unfortunately, I have failed in doing that. I do know that Dr. Isra Al-Dha'in now holds a doctorate from Brunel University in London in the area of strategic decision and quality in the context of higher education, and she is currently an executive director of strategy, quality, and sustainability. She is also an associate professor at Ahliya University, Bahrain, and she will be talking to us today about education skills for digital age towards sustainable development. Thank you. حياك دكتورة.
Hello, everyone. I am very pleased to be here with you today, even though it's a bit late. I think I have to work very hard to keep you all engaged. Okay, so just let me first check if this is working well. Yeah. Right. So today I'll be presenting to you about the role of the qualification frameworks in integrating key skills and competencies that is really required for the digital age. Today we've been hearing a lot of discussion about the use of AI, digital age. We heard about revising our teaching strategies, revising the way that we are delivering our teaching to in the classrooms and so on. And with this discussion, we all agreed on that there is a necessity to integrate digital skills like certain skills that keeps on our future graduate up to date to the market requirements. We also talked about something very important, which is engaging stakeholders in the whole process. So when we are talking about engaging the stakeholders and also employability, which is which just highlighted again, it's basically there is a serious need in the market that our graduate needs to be equipped with certain competencies that will not only serve the market today, but it's also serving the future. And therefore, we need to focus on something which is not only for today, we need to focus on sustainable future. Therefore, I'm presenting to you today findings of a paper that I have published in one of the journals. However, today's presentation will talk about Ahliya University as a case study. Ahliya University is a private institution in the Kingdom of Bahrain. We are offering 21 academic programs with +1 just recently approved, so it's 22. We do offer different disciplines, including business and finance, information technology, engineering, and arts and science. As a university, we intend to focus on quality assurance, and not only quality assurance, but also sustaining our quality assurance through different accreditation bodies internationally and, of course, locally. One of the major requirements that we believe that the qualification frameworks have added up to our system, which we are very pleased, to be honest, because first of all, I'm very pleased to be here and presenting this in front of you all, and of course in front of BQA, because we are very pleased to marry the BQA standards in our system. It really enabled us to achieve the requirements in order to identify certain strategies for the way forward and sustainability. So we revised our teaching and learning strategies to cope with not only traditional learning, but also e-learning. We have also set different policies and procedures for assessments and for evaluation that really assures the level of assessment, really assess the learning outcomes and the competency rather than just numbers and grades. And we also ensure that there is some sort of authenticity in the assessments and in the students' workload. We also considered development of new policies and procedures for the admission. And by setting new standards for the admission, that really assures that we are providing access to all learners rather than restricting it to certain learners. And of course, what we did was the main driver towards integrating key skills for United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And these key skills are related to not only ICT, but also to critical thinking and communications. We have developed some sort of a framework at Ahliya. And this framework was developed by engaging different stakeholders, including employers, alumni, advisory board members, and students. And we have also engaged people from the United Nations to consider what are those key skills that we need to focus on, that they are sustainable, that they are not only required for today, but they are required for the future. And also what we noticed is that we needed to focus more about the skills that it's required in terms of awareness rather than just adaptation. So one of them was adaptability and motivation. resilience, connectivity and networking, and ethical standards and research. Talking about adaptability and motivation, some of us said earlier this morning that it's very hard to keep students motivated in the classroom. It's very hard to keep them engaged in the classroom. It's also the same thing when we are teaching them online, to be honest. So we had to create some sort of different mechanisms in teaching and learning that allows the students to be more adaptable and motivated to come up with the new innovative ideas by using certain technological tools rather than relying on traditional learning. We also consider resilience, that how the students are engaged and also taking up the challenges rather than giving up easily, to be honest. We wanted our students to be equipped with some sort of a skill that they are up to a challenge if they are given a very difficult challenge, and also coming up with more creativity and innovation. Connectivity and networking, we found this is lacking, to be honest. And connectivity, what do we mean by that? Is basically that our student needs to be connected to the real world, to the local, to the global challenges, where we felt that our students are not really connected much because of certain tools that they are using or certain methods that they are relying on in their teaching and learning. And therefore, using some technological tool kept them engaged and connected. Local and global citizenship. We really felt that local and global citizenship is one of the key areas that we really need to ensure that our graduates, future graduates, are really equipped with. What do we mean by local and global citizenship? It's basically considering certain areas that it will serve the society and will create a societal impact. And of course, research ethics and human rights. Research ethics, we all know, with the use of AI, and we have been talking about it recently quite a lot. With the use of AI, chatbots, and different tools, research ethics has become tricky. And how do we tackle that is we believe that creating a culture for the students, not only for the academics, that these tools are available for you for learning, for informal learning. However, they are not supposed to be used for your assessment. So we are creating some sort of a mindset by using it in their learning. So we are not banning it, we are allowing it, and therefore the students are aware what is the differences and how beneficial it could be. This data, it's a pilot study, to be honest, for College of Business and Finance. We tested the method before and after, and we have seen that there has been a big shift in terms of the ILO's achievements, specifically in the area of critical thinking, and also in the area of lifelong learning, like adaptability and informal learning. As you can see, before and after, there has been good improvements, apart from the course of research ethics, which is, as I mentioned earlier, it is a bit tricky considering the available tools that is available for the students, that they are still using it in generating their own assessments, which we need to come up with a way that captures the students' understanding that this tool could be beneficial for your learning, but not for your assessment. We have seen that the graduate attributes improved quite a lot in terms of lifelong learning, critical thinking, applied knowledge, and knowledge. Specifically for applied knowledge, learners are now able to rely on these tools to somehow use it to apply their own existing knowledge. So they are somehow picking up this knowledge that they are gathering from these digital tools, and they are applying it in the classroom. And this was clearly visible. Now, what are the challenges that we may face as a higher education institutions? And we are currently facing that, of course. We need to redesign our curriculum. We need to transform our curriculum to be integrating more of, certain digital tools, digital maybe gamification, with a consideration of a clear progression pathway between a course to another. And we also need to ensure that our faculty are up to date. So we don't want to force our students to comply with certain digital requirements, whereas our faculty are not really up to date. And we really need to know what are the ups and downs of these technological tools in order to be able to transform it to our future generation. Some of the smart tools does not support cultural activity, cultural sensitivity, and also gender equality. And we cannot really maintain ethical standard at this stage. And therefore, we need to develop more restricted quality assurance policies to support these kind of misconduct. The assessment needs to be more designed in a way that it is transparent. Maybe we can develop more of assessment rubrics that defines how and what are the expected learning outcomes from the students and how they could be assessed and attained through the use of these technological tools. And of course, student engagement through platforms. Although some people says it is active because people feel more exposed or they are not really shy by typing, but still there is a lack of student engagement, specifically when there are some sort of a group discussion and so on. So our proposed recommendation is to revise the academic programs, of course, with a consideration with different key competencies in line with the mission of the institution and the requirement of the market as well. And it is also suggested to co-create the curriculum in consultation with the stakeholders. Also to set new assessment strategies for these smart tools that really can capture the misconduct and ethical standards, and also develop an ethical standard guideline that supports such an integration. We should not ban it, as we know that a lot of journals, including Elsevier, Emerald Publishing, started to accept that. And also, we need to set a frequent professional development plan for our faculty member to catch up with this up-to-date and dynamic digital age, and allocate a budget for the use of such a platform. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope that you find it interesting. Thank you. Thank you.
Again, another interesting topic from Dr. Isra, incorporating skills today. Skills has become the language of the future. Everyone today in higher education is discussing how we can insert the language of skills in qualifications, in design of programs, and in promoting future employees. I would like to just remind you all that we are a little bit behind schedule, so we are leaving 5 minutes for questions in the session. I'm sure Dr. will be available after this and during dinner tonight, so catch her with all the questions we won't be able to take now. But I will start with a question from the audience.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Many thanks for the presentation, extremely important, I think. So I'm Kato Rolia from Nottingham-Trent University, UK. So I was just curious, in case of resistance, when looking at reskilling and implementing, various, let's say, emerging technology or just technological advancements into the curriculum and staff and student programs, have you met resistance from either student or staff, and how did you deal with it?
Absolutely. First of all, we had resistance from both students and staff. When it comes to the staff, of course, they felt it was very difficult for them to adapt quickly to the technological tools. But when they started using it and they figured out how useful it is in their delivery, they started to adapting it slowly and gradually. But frankly speaking, the major resistance was from the faculty, because they, especially when you are, for example, using a smart book, okay, you need to design your own assessment in order to ensure that you are really assessing the appropriate learning outcome and the competency level that you are expecting from your students. So that design of the assessment in a technological platform was a bit of a hassle for the faculty members. So this was honestly speaking, a real hassle to make them, motivate them to use that tool. But then when they started using it, they started to feel and appreciate how important it is, and how it enabled them to capture appropriate data that they can even use as part of certain cohort analysis in the future. So that was the faculty. In terms of the students, this was a shock, to be honest, because considering the students at this age and with the digital use and the technology and using their smartphone more often, you expect them that they would be very much happy using the technology. But then they were absolutely resistant. It's a shock, right? The reason behind that is they were like, then if we are going to do all of that online, then why do we need to come to campus? So that thing, we had to ensure that we redesign our courses in a way that there is an enough component of delivery in the classroom, and then blended with certain exercises that they are done through online platforms. So that's how we did it, and therefore I really believe that we really need to redesign our curricula in order to ensure that it is somehow supporting that kind of a blend to start with. Thank you.
We still have time for one more question. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Isra. It's not a question, it's rather a comment, if you allow me. I think you really said what I've been sharing with some of the colleagues since the morning very well. Because in relation to the set of skills we need to develop in our students, you talk about adaptability. I think the answer to the discussion we've been having since the morning about the emerging needs of the market, all the changes happening, and by the time the student graduates, another set of requirements have come up and so on. But if you emphasize, if we as institutions emphasize lifelong learning and adaptability and the ability for the students themselves to adapt with whatever is coming, I think we would have done a great job. And you said it nicely. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that comment. It was a short comment, so if we don't have any more questions, we can wrap up or take one more. No? I think that was a very excellent presentation. Thank you very much. And thank you. if you allow me to do my teacher thing again and ask for your attention. Dictora Azzah, are you still with us in the hall? Dictora? She left. Then I only have Dictora Isra. Would you please join me on the stage?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I think this is the last session for this hall for today's. My name is Dr. Musa Al-Kindi. I'm from Modern College of Business and Science, and I will be the facilitator for this session. In this session, we have Dr. Bassam Muhammad Al-Hamad from the Kingdom of Bahrain, and he's going to talk about challenges to digital transformation in higher education institutions in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Dr. Bassam is an expert in quality assurance and accreditation in higher education. He was the former director of the Quality Assurance and Accreditation Center at the University of Bahrain, and he holds a PhD in Process Systems Engineering, and he is an affiliate member of INQUAHI, an ABIT program evaluator, an ISO expert, and he published several publications with well-known international organizations such as the International Union of Universities. So without further delay, I would like to ask Dr. Bassam to start his presentation.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We welcome everyone here, and hopefully we'll have a quick 20 minutes for you. I hope that it will be interesting. My name is Bassam Al-Hamad, and as I always say, I hope I add knowledge, and I also hope to add smiles. And of course, all of us are Arabs, and we know the name of what Bassam means. And usually, he just presented me, very thankfully. He presented me as Bassam Al-Hamad, or Bassam Al-Hamad. The problem when they call me Bassam, I become a bit sad, because it's me smiling. And not to be surprising, Bassam means always smiling. So that's the thing that I would like to be presented with. Thankfully, just putting a sense of humor here. So what we're going to be talking about today, we are going to be talking about the challenges for digital transformation. Now, I know there are people who are confused between digitization, digital learning, digital transformation, and sometimes they call AI as digital transformation, or they call e-learning as AI or digital transformation. All of these terminologies are different. We should not confuse between them. And going on, I'm going to present to you the challenges. And before showing you the challenges, I need to tell you how many universities were incorporated in this study so that we can decide, can we generalize those outcomes? Can we generalize what we have here on other countries or not? So that statistics, I sat with two public, okay, so that is just the statistics of Bahrain. We are a small country. of 2 public universities, 17 private. We have several majors, 31% of them are business, and engineering 17%, and so on. And talking about the factors that affect digital transformation. Now, this is from where? This is from literature review. So based on the literature, you can see there are about 50 articles. And based on that, there are 5 different challenges that we have here. The first challenge for digital transformation is the national-wide and regulatory factors related to national strategy, related to legislations and standards. For example, I just attended for Dr. Nasser's Sarhan session, and he was talking about the vision of KSA and how there was a clear vision about digital transformation. Now, to talk about digital transformation in Bahrain, do we have a vision for digital transformation or not? We have an e-authority government, and this e-government, it takes the responsibility of that digital transformation. But we will discuss today, we have some points that we need to cover, especially in the area of education. We had digital transformation in many different areas and ministries, but talking about universities, we are lacking some. Number 2 is the institutional and governance factors. Now, I was talking about a national-wide thing. Now I'm talking about the vision of the Higher Education Institute. If it does not include within its vision, mission, strategy, KPIs, if it does not include the measures for e-learning, for digital transformation, then we're going to have a problem. Number 3, human competency and cultural factors. And we all know the story of that. We have faculty members. I will not say the old style, because they are very good faculty members, they are professors, they are specialized, but they cannot cope with this new technology. They suffer. We need to help them, or otherwise they need to leave the university, because life is running really quick, really fast, and we need to be not as slow or as fast as what is happening within the market. Number 4, infrastructure and technical factors. Bahrain has no problems with infrastructure and technical factors. It's very simple. So the areas that I'm trying to cover here, I'm going to reflect all those 5 areas based on the literature, that these are the main areas that we have many universities suffering from. Number 5, specialization and market factors. Now, talking about the market factors and the specialization, sometimes the specialization, it affects the university to include the digital transformation within the university. For example, engineering, petroleum and oil and gas industry, because they were really advanced, it was reflected, all the software that were used in those companies, were reflected inside the institutions. Why? Because they need them to be fit to the market. They need a graduate to fit to the market. Another example, talking about arts and education, they did not have a lot of changes in digital transformation or software that are provided to the students or used by the faculty members. Why? Because when you go back to the market is not that advanced in education and arts in terms of technology. And that reflects back where in the market. So here, what I'm trying to reflect is specialization and market factors. It will indeed catalyze and move the process faster towards digital transformation. I sat with a group of universities, 10 higher education institutions, 2 government and 8 universities, and 8 private universities. I also went through the BQA reports, very thankfully, and all of those BQA reports, about 17 reports, we went through them so that we can be able to analyze and come up with conclusions. So it includes both direct and indirect measures. Now I'm going to start factor by factor. So I said there are 5 factors. So the first factor is related to national-wide and regulatory factors. And talking about the factors, what we have here is Higher Education Council. These are the nationwide and regulatory factors at Bahrain. Higher Education Council, E-Government Authority, and Quality Assurance Authority. And all these somehow had a contribution towards digital transformation. And to be very happy saying that the HEC National Plan lacked digital learning. Sorry, I would not say I'm happy. I thought that was something, that was a positive point. So it's a negative point, so I'm not happy to say. The HEC National Plan lacked digital learning as a core strategy before the pandemic. So we have a strategic plan at the higher education level, but is there a strategy for digital transformation in the Higher Education Council national strategy? The answer is no. So that means we need to move. Is it part of the e-government authority strategy? The answer is yes, it is. Now, how does education strategy of HEC get in collaboration with the e-government authority so that they can have this digital transformation possible? And this is one of my recommendations that I come up within our study here. And IGA, which is the name of the organization that I just mentioned about the e-government, I just mentioned that point. R&D are limited in the areas of developing e-learning systems and digital transformation and learning. Now, we can see three different agencies. We can see there is a digital transformation. So I'm standing here, I'm shifting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. I'm moving really on digital transformation. Now, did I do research to what happened? Did I use any kind of reflection to see, did I do really well? Or I could have moved even faster than the speed that I was moving. That kind of research is not really reflected within HEC in specific, which is part of of its role as a strategic point of view, and it's also a regulator at the same time. So it was not there. Reflecting the quality standards that were kept by BQA at a national-wide and HEC, very thankfully, they covered all the areas that you hear today. All the areas you heard about digital transformation or e-learning or something, they said that you need to include in the standard strategy, governance systems, benchmarking, HR support, online resources, communication, interaction, teaching, and assessment. I'm happy to say that this is all built very well as a standards and in details. But I'm also sad to say that this is not part of what is after COVID. It was the standards that were written during the COVID period, which means that we are still becoming reactive and not proactive, not strategic, and vision. We should be visionary in a way that we pull ourselves. If we have a vision there, we are pulling ourselves to go towards the vision so that we can achieve that digital transformation rather than being reactive to really what is happening within the market. Reflecting, having a national strategy. Yalla, okay. So having a national strategy, لا ماشي معي طيب هو بس أنا شوي. Having a national strategy for digital learning or digital transformation and not only e-learning. So this is the first point. There's a difference between e-learning and digital transformation, and we need to have that national strategy for digital transformation, which includes framework, standards, and so on. I don't want to go into that detail. In the exceptional period of the pandemic, there were clear guidelines. We had a very clear guideline, but again, it's reactive. We need to be proactive. Creating digital content and evaluating performance. The exceptional situation where we showed very good performance. And I was happy to hear from Isra saying that we had a really good performance throughout the pandemic period so that we cover all the skills that we need to cover for employability. But let me give you another catch. There is a loss of learning and loss of skills. There is a gap because of e-learning. So we also need to rethink Talking about artificial intelligence, for example, artificial intelligence for students make them, instead of taking small steps, they started taking these steps really faster. And it's really good. But wait for a moment. If they don't know the details between those steps, they are losing a lot of information. When we do, as professors, invent, we go to the details. We go to the nano instead of going to the micro, and even smaller and smaller. Why? Because we need to go to the details of the equation. Talking for me as a chemical engineer, rather than talking about kinetics, the speed of the reaction, what you see is C plus O2 is CO2. I hope all of you know that chemical equation, which is carbon dioxide. By the way, C plus O2 is giving CO2 is about 10 chemical reactions. It's not one. It's 10 chemical reactions if you go to the micro level. And this is what I'm trying to say. The student is jumping with AI. He's getting all the answers in a click through ChatGPT, but in fact, he's not really going to the details of that learning. And this is what I'm worried about. Digital transformation has goods, but it also has negative parts that we need to consider in our study. We are happy with that. I'm going to pass this because I'm just looking at my time is 4:50. So I have about 5 minutes to finish everything. Adel? Hey, thank you very much. Okay, so let's go to the institutional and governance part. So we have institutional and the governance part, which is related to strategic plan. And here what I'm trying to say is that if the institution does not include in a strategic plan, the digital transformation as part of the strategy, and again, strategy doesn't mean goals, objectives only. It also means KPIs, it means action plans, it means follow-ups, it means closing the loop. So all of that should be reflected very clearly. Key points: we need an integrated vision for digital transformation, and we also need to look at the role of policies and procedures in supporting implementation. And we also need to look at the challenges and the importance of holistic planning. Holistic planning means not only higher education institution, but also at the level of the country. Okay, just to cut it short, so here where you can see in this figure, and you look at the market, if the speed of the market, sorry, I'm talking engineering somehow, if the speed of the market is running 100 kilometers per hour, and if I have my curriculum is moving 50 kilometers per hour, so what happens? The gap is even bigger and bigger and bigger. Why? Because the curriculum is moving very slowly. Now, does digital transformation help me to move faster in approving curriculum, in upgrading them, in getting inputs from the stakeholder through digital transformation? Can I have this to be faster? And I will tell you honestly, as a professor, we take about 1 year to approve any new program. To update the program. It's not about a new program. To update the program, we take about 1 year. Now, no one is going to wait for us in the market to stay for 1 year. So this is something that we need to consider. My last 2 slides. HEC needs to complete the legislation related to digital teaching and learning. We were talking about micro-credentials, and that is already one of the recommendations. If we don't have that micro-credentials to be legislated, written by clear policies and procedures by the Higher Education Council, we are not going to go anywhere for micro-credentials. Number 2, HEC needs to update its national strategy. If the national strategy doesn't include any details about digital transformation, we are not going to go anywhere. Higher education institutes cannot do that by themselves. They need a national strategy to support them. BQA and HEC need to anchor the required details of the standards related to e-learning and digital transformation, which I mean here, they were reactive during the COVID period, having a lot of standards, but all of the standards, which were about a lot of details, 33 for HEC, points, they were reduced to one single line or sentence within the standards. So I'm worried about that. Number 4, HEC should have a clear strategy. We said that. HEI should identify the areas of digital transformation depending on its area path. And here when I say a strategic path, I don't need to do digital transformation in everything. I may do a digital transformation in the curriculum part related to the specialization. Or I feel I have a problem with the data analysis. Let's do that. I have a problem with communication. Let's do digital transformation communication. I have a problem with community engagement. Let's do digital transformation community engagement. It depends on my strategic path. It's not just everything that I need to do here. Last slide. National strategies expedite transformation in education. I think this is clear. Legislation and regulatory bodies play a critical role. I'm just mentioning everything again, but I'm putting it as key remarks. Number 3, digital transformation impacts learning and research. Finally, modern software is vital for specialization and career development. These are the 4 main key areas. I'm going to stop here because of the time. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate your listening.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bassam. And sorry for misspelling your name. Actually, Bassam actually it means makes people smile. So فعال يعني. Okay, so thank you for that. And we'll open the floor now for any questions or remarks.
It's good not to have any questions, yani. I feel better.
Okay. Yeah, there is.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bassam. You really elaborated the paper which I have just presented on the quantitative way. You put it the qualitative way over here. So I was wondering, because I present the paper in Pakistani scenario, that really the professors are not ready to move on digitalization or upgrading themselves or reskilling themselves. So that case I was thinking about, only the Pakistani universities facing this problem. But in Bahrain, you say we are having the same sort of problem, maybe in other region too. So have you made the government level or quality assurance level some strategies to upskilling those professors or any kind of planning to be doing that? That's my question was.
Well, thank you very much. Again, I'm reflecting at a very big scale for all universities, and I'm not mentioning specific universities in my presentation. Which I want to reflect is that there are universities which are advanced in front, and there are other universities which are really they are lagging. Talking about technical facilities, all the universities in Bahrain, they are very well equipped and they have all technical facilities. Education platforms, all of them, they have good education platforms. Do they have training? We don't have any problem with human facilities. So that is why it is not part of my recommendations. We are doing very well in that. What I'm trying to say is that we are doing well in digital transformation, but not as fast as we should do, because the market is really running very fast. And this is what is worrying me, is that we're doing well, but not as well as we should do. And looking at least in the region, and I'm talking about KSA, Saudi Arabia, for us it's running in a speed of 120, and we are moving at the speed of 70 or 80. And I can see the difference with years. 1 year, we were there together. Second year, we are further. And the third year, they're even further than us. I mean, they're far away. And again, that is not in all facilities. Today, with the mobile phone, I can do many of the services that I have all online which means we're really doing well. Actually, there are many reports I have in my paper which shows that we are a pioneer in digital transformation in many services. But again, what about education? What about higher education? And are we moving with the correct speed or not? So this is the main point that I want to highlight here. Thanks.
Thank you. Doctor, تفضل.
Dr. Bassam, thank you very much for this very impressive presentation. There is a gap. And how we can expedite the gap? Using what? Legislations? Improving standards? Or using AI in this process to reduce the gap, to fill the gap? Yes, I agree with you totally. There is a big, very big gap between curricula and learning outcomes and the labor market requirements. I'm talking about the Arab Network for Higher Education, for Quality Assurance in Higher Education. How we can help the Arab countries or the higher education institution in the Arab world to reduce these gaps. It's very important.
Yep, there is a big gap. And actually, I will not say that AI is the only solution, Yani, because again, there are who are confusing between AI and digital transformation. And again, we can use AI in many different fields. But to close the gap, the best thing I would say that look at the market and see how fast it is moving and move as fast as it should be, which means they are going to be our partners. The market, the business people, the companies, they are going to be our partners in teaching and learning. If we get to that level, and actually this is the education that was 150 and 200 years ago. But talking about the new education system of universities that we have today, it's not letting us move as fast as should be. And this is why European and US countries, they are changing. They are changing because they discover that what they put as a system as higher education is lacking a kind of a speed, and it's keeping the professors at one side and the academia away from the market. Yani. So I just don't want to take more time. Dr. Wafa?
I just wanted to comment on one thing that you mentioned. During COVID, there was a direct transformation, almost overnight, in lots of universities in Bahrain. The time that the student did not get education was very limited. Maybe some institutions, they were even 1 day or 2 days. And somehow the system allowed it. And actually there were papers, there were research, there were announcements that we did well, we did great, and there wasn't loss in education. Although I think there was some loss. I mean, it's hard to say that there wasn't loss. My point is, why, once we overcome COVID, everything went back. And instead of building on what has been developed, we went back into no online, no even a blended learning, no. From your study, what did you feel is the main reason of not capitalizing on the experience that was gained during COVID?
It's the vision of the country. Is it part of the vision of Higher Education Council, which is the regulatory body, I would say, or is there a national strategy for digital transformation related to education? I know the e-government did a very good job, but it did a good job for education in schools, not in higher education. All what has reflected in the reports were SIS systems in higher education, which is the student registration system. That is not enough. So I go back and say that it is the national strategy. If there was a national strategy, then it will be booming, because there's someone who's pushing us to do that, and there's a national strategy which is also pulling us. I would conclude. I answered that, but I would conclude because I know that I already over my time. But I would like to say this. Today I saw something that's really nice. sorry, I'm going to give something to Bahrain as a credit. I saw the CEO of the Quality Assurance Authority of today and yesterday and day before yesterday. What I mean is that it's the first time in my life I see 3 different CEOs, everyone taking the position of the others, all of them sitting on the same table. And that is the vision that Dr. Jawahar, that you have done. And this is what I'm saying. It is the vision. You put a vision there in QA, it is there. And this is what we want to have as a vision for the whole country for digital transformation. Thank you very much.
Well done. Jazakumullah khair. Any final question before we conclude? تفضل.
My friend, thank you very much. Prof. Bassam, your presentation is great and very informative. Now, regarding the implementation of digital transformation, which comes as a result of a vision and a strategy or national strategy, from your opinion, and according to what we did together and some studies, other studies, and according to this study in specific, what do you think regarding the implementation and to get our targets and so on?
I'll try to hold myself not to say the whole story, but we have a joint book of 5 different countries represented in the Arab world. And this book is already published, but we cannot say a lot about it now. It's going to be published soon available to everyone. And I would like to say that we developed standards and we developed a kind of measures that will support the vision towards digital transformation. That is just a simple line that I would say, and this is what Dr. Nasser was trying to reflect, is that we had done something good. For 5 different countries, without mentioning the countries, is going to be on media soon. Thank you very much.
Shukran jazeelan. Thank you very much, Dr. Bassam. On your behalf, we thank Dr. Bassam, not Bassam, for his interesting talk on digital transformation in the Kingdom of Bahrain. And we conclude the session for this afternoon. And we thank you for your attendance and patience. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you, Dr. Musa. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. The session after this is cancelled. So if you would like to attend the next one, it's going to be in hall 5-6 upstairs. Yeah? Sorry, Dr. Musa.